Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're doing something a little bit different, and that is addressing the same thing that every content creator has been kind of addressing right now, and it's just the simple fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is way too expensive right now. So one of the biggest issues that a lot of people from Master Duel are having is porting over to actual paper play, whether it's the OCG or the TCG, and that is simply because of the massive paywall that there is to actually get a functional deck. Now granted, thanks to the reprint sets like the 2023 Megatins and the Rarity Collection, a lot of these hard to access staples have become a lot more accessible and in multiple different rarities. I'm talking of course of cards like Kashtira Fenrir, Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, and so on. However, there are cards that just came out in sets like Age of Overlord that are still easily a couple $100, or entire engines that are like $400 or $500, and we'll get into that in a minute. And some of these cards, depending on what deck you're playing or just in general, you need to play if you want to do successfully at a higher competitive event. So what I have in front of me right now is like the list of all the cards from Age of Overlord, and let's just real quick talk about some of the higher rarity cards that you need to play. There's Arias, the Labyrinth Butler. A lot of lab players aren't really playing this right now to begin with, but the card is $15, which is fine. It's a secret rare. But the main card I want to talk about is the Sinful Spoils package. You have Dia Belstar herself, which is $30, and this card is being run in Fire Kings. It's being run in Rescue Ace. And depending on, how big you want your engine, this card could be 2 to 3 copies. And if you're doing 3 copies, that's $90, $100 after shipping and taxes for a playset of just the witch herself. And then we, of course, have the Wanted, which is the most expensive card in the engine, and that card is $110. And so you need to be paying $300 for a playset, probably closer to like $350 after shipping and taxes. This card is an absolute 3 of. You need to be running 3 of it if you're running it in Fire Kings or Rescue Ace, and the card just does so much when it actually resolves. But on top of that, the other spell, which is the one that summons the level 1 fire. Yeah, so original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. That card's $6, and it was really cheap before it actually popped off at the YCS. But now it's like $7 for it. So you're paying close to like $350 to $400, probably closer to like $450 for the entire Sinful Spoils package. And that's insane for if you want to play one of the best decks in the format, which is either Fire King or Rescue Ace. But then also on top of that, let's talk about, the biggest elephant in the room, which is our good friend SP Little Knight, wherever she is at. Yeah, so SP Little Knight is a card that you need to be running at least 1 of, no matter what deck you're playing, but a lot of decks are running 2 of it, and it's $110. And all these cards are from the newest core set, Age of Overlord, and it's good to see that Age of Overlord is retaining its value, because a lot of sets that came out this year haven't been retaining its value. But this is a little overboard, because in sets like Photon Hypernova, which was the first core set that came out this year with Kashtira, if you didn't want to play Kashtira, then you didn't have to fork over a fuck ton of money. But in Age of Overlord specifically, you have to be playing an SP Little Knight, so you have to be forking over $100. If you want to play Fire King or a Rescue Ace, not only do you have to spend a lot of money to buy Rescue Ace, but you have to spend a lot of money to buy SP Little Knight, and a lot of money to get the Sinful Spoils package and all that stuff. And just in general, this is a little overboard. And then on top of that, again, they have to buy all the hand traps and stuff, which have become easily accessible via the Rarity Collection. But then still talking about Age of Overlord here, we also have the Horus engine, which the ultra rare King Sarcophagus, that's $5. That's not bad. But you do need usually 2 to 3 of them, which is about $10, $15 for a playset. But then, the rest of the cards are pretty cheap, minus the big guy himself, Imseti, wherever he's at, which is $55. And he's the best one that you have to be running 3 of. So that's $160 something for a playset of Imseti, plus you got to get the Sarcophagus, and then all the other ones are really cheap, so that's not a big deal. But let's just talk about Age of Overlord. Let's real quick jump to some of the other notable stuff that we should be mentioning about why things are just really overpriced. So to start, let's talk about another card, another staple that's being run right now in a lot of main decks, or especially in the side decks. Droll and Lockbird. Drone Lockbird was just printed as a common in the Fire King structure deck, and this card is like $3 for a common, and you might as well just go buy the Fire King structure deck, because the set alone has a lot of just really good reprints in general. But not to mention, on top of that, it is a rare in Tactical Masters, and it's like $4 in Tactical Masters. Droll and Lockbird, again, it's a main deck card, and it was not printed in the Rarity Collection. It's not a main deck card always, but it is run in the side deck because it just kills some decks in the current format. But on top of that, let's talk about another card that was printed in the Fire King structure deck, Infinite Impermanence. For a common Infinite Impermanence, you're paying $2, which, doesn't sound that bad. But it's a common that is guaranteed if you buy the structure deck. But on top of that, it came in 7 different rarities in the Rarity Collection. And it's still like $3 for the super rare. Let's real quick look at Ash Blossom, which again just got printed in 7 different rarities in the Rarity Collection. And just for the super rare, you're paying again $3. So if you want to build any meta contending deck right now in the format, you're paying easily like $1,000 for a deck, and that's slightly exaggerating, but my point still stands. And Ash Blossom, even from the structure decks of the Crystal Beast and the Trap Tricks, you're paying again like $3 for a common. And this isn't even just talking about if you want to build like one of the best tier 1 decks in the format currently, because the last couple cards I just mentioned, Droll and Lockbird, Infinite Impermanence, and Ash Blossom, you're gonna probably be running those in like every deck you build. So you're paying easily like $40 for a playset of each of them all total. Again, exaggerating a little bit, but like I'm not far off here. And that's just for your staples. That's just for your hand traps. That's not even talking about the deck itself that you want to build. Now, granted, the upside here is that the Fire King structure deck is actually very competent by itself, and you could build a pure version of it without Sinful Spoils or Tri-Brigade or any of that. And all you'd have to do is buy like Ash Blossoms and or Effect Veilers, because the deck doesn't come with them. It comes with Imperm. It comes with Imperm, and it comes with Droll and Lockbird, but it does not come with Ash Blossom, so you'd have to spend a little extra money. So in total, if you want to build a pure Fire King structure deck, or a pure Fire King deck, you'd probably be paying like $60, but you still have to worry about your extra deck and your side deck, which can quite often, more often than not, be the very expensive part of your deck. And I think this is just a big, like, in a sense, gatekeep to people who want to convert over to paper play from Master Duel, because the one thing Master Duel has done very well for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it has brought an audience that wasn't originally paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh! Now paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh! And the thing is because Master Duel is free to play, and I truly believe that Master Duel is a full-on free-to-play game. You do not have to spend gems on the game unless you want to have 1,000 different decks, because at the end of the day, Master Duel gives out a lot of free gems, whether it's in the solo play or the events that happen once a month or just ranking up. You get a lot of gems, and you can grind them up very quickly to build new decks. It all just comes down to a matter of how patient you are. And I think that's where Yu-Gi-Oh! As paper play hurts a lot, because players can't convert from Master Duel to the paper play. We're going to ignore the fact that it's best of 1 format and a completely different ban list on Master Duel, and we're just going to look at the fact that there's just that massive paywall. And at the end of the day, we can all relate. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are typically pretty poor. And I think it's pretty safe to say that unless you're a very popular content creator, or you have very godly polls, or even a pro player, you probably don't have a lot of money to be spending on cardboard. And again, like I said, with all these reprint sets that we did get this year, a lot of this has become more accessible to newer players. However, there's still that massive paywall if they want to actually play a competent deck. And I don't mean tier 1, just a competent deck in general. Like, for example, let's real quick look at the Chimera deck, branded Chimera, which has seen minor success in competitive play and could very well just be played right out the gate. So immediately right out the gate, you're looking at the super rare spell that you need to use to fuse in the deck is $2 for each copy, and you usually typically nowadays play 3 copies. That's $6 just for your spell. Guardian Chimera, ultra rare or secret rare, you're looking at $20. Deck runs 2 of them, so that's $40. The Chimera hand rip, which you run 2 of usually as well, $10, which is a lot better than what it used to be. It was like $25, but again, $10, so you're running another $20 on that guy. Then we're looking at Rinbrum, because the deck does run Rinbrum. That's another $8 right there. Then some versions of the deck are running like the Cartesia package. So for Granganol, which would be a one of, is, you know, $13. But then we go look at actual Cartesia herself, which did get reprinted in the tins. But, you know, if you want the Darkwing Blast secret rare, that's like $8, $2 for the regular 25th anniversary Cartesia. But of course, the deck does run Super Poly. So you want the 25th anniversary, you're paying $8. You want the original Power of the Elements, you're paying $7. Another Super Poly target is Guilty Gearfried, which is getting up there to $20 for a copy. Because again, it does hurt some decks because it's a Super Poly target. And then just looking at Super Poly in general, its range is anywhere from $2 to $5 per copy. You're going to usually be running 3 copies of it. It's just... This is just for the most, like, minor version, or this is just for, like, the most, like, rogue or tier 2 strategy possible. This is a deck that you can see very good success with as long as you're a good pilot, but you don't have to fork over a good fortune. But this is still, just talking about this, you're still forking over, like, about $200 to build this deck in particular. And that just means, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just has this big, massive paywall, and the paywall has always existed, but I think it is more prevalent in the current format because there are certain decks that run very powerful engines, and if you're not running those powerful engines, you're just not playing the game. But then SP Little Knight is a mandatory one-of in literally every deck other than Branded Chimera because it locks itself into fusions. So it's just like Little Knight is a $100 investment for no matter like what deck you're playing. Now, all of that being said, I of course have opposed a problem. I have brought a problem up to everybody's faces, one that every content creator is bringing to everyone's faces, but I have not proposed a solution. And that's mainly because there really isn't a proper solution. Because on one hand, yes, there's a massive paywall, but at the same time, you are buying physical product, unlike Master Duel, where it is all ones and zeros. And to come in possession of that physical product, you have to put forward the investment. Not to mention, on top of that, collectors really do like having the things that they pull retain value. It's kind of the whole shtick with being a collector, is owning things that are high value and highly sought after. So to ruin the TCG market, or just the market in general, would be ruining that entire community base of people that simply just like to collect the cards. But on the other hand, there are people who like to price gouge or hoard the product until it becomes highly sought after, and then they jack up the price. Or Konami just likes to print the highly sought after cards or mandatory one-ofs or staples in higher rarities, which only further makes the card more sought after because it's harder to get your hands on. And SP Little Knight is a prime example of this. SP Little Knight was a secret rare in Age of Overlord, and it is a mandatory one-of, which has made it $100 per copy. And I think the simple solution to this is that Konami needs to be more aware of the damage they're doing before they print out certain cards in certain rarities. There's nothing wrong with having some of the best cards in the set be the highest rarity, because yes, I would love my Little Knight to be a secret rare because it is the best card in the set. But at the same time, when Little Knight and Wanted are secret rares and they're both $100 to $110 a piece, that becomes a problem. Not to mention, all the best cards in Age of Overlord are the highest rarity. We're looking at cards like SP Little Knight, Wanted, Diabellstar, and Imseti, which are all secret rares, and then we have cards like Typhon and King Sarcophagus, which are ultras. Because all this is doing is either forcing newer players to either A, not play the game competitively, B, fork over a lot of money to buy the cards on TCG, or C, fork over even more money to just buy product and hope that they pull the cards they're looking for. And that's really all I have to say. I'm willing to hear what you guys have to think down in the comments below, and if you have any possible solutions that could actually work for both sides of the spectrum, I'm definitely willing to hear it. But other than that, that's really all I got for you guys this week, so I'll see you all in next week's video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See ya!